if you switch to tree, let me just switch a language, the main language to tree. Let me see. Yeah. So you see where the mic is. You can actually talk.
Oh,
Oh wow.
wow.
Let's see if it works.
Brafie Nabedidi.
Yeah. So in this, we have the best available tree transcription technology anywhere. Like we've tested other ones, both commercial, non-commercial, and all that, and ours is actually the best available.
Yeah.
So then,
Mema wona wɔhwɛ no akwaba. Mema won akwaba wo ye adansidie mu kyerɛ Joel a ofri Ghana indu.
Hop onto Google Translate and see how terrible it is.
It's still speaking English.
Hi,
actually.
is not you.
Hi everybody, welcome to the Gonksman channel. Here, we provide you with information, cool stuff that is happening around. Sometimes we get into politics and all of that, but today we are getting into some cool stuff, right? What do you see about
amazing stuff. I mean, we all hear AI, right?
Yeah.
Everybody is going crazy about it, and for good reason. And it's particularly exciting to know that there are, Africans or people connected to Africa who are tackling AI from the African perspective. So it's very exciting, and we're happy to have Joel here today to share, information on what they've been working on. Why it's going to be a huge game changer for the continent overall. Happy to have you here, Joel. Maybe
it's a pleasure.
Intro. Yeah.
So maybe quickly introduce yourself, Joel, to our viewers and what you guys are doing at GhanaNLP.
Okay, thanks so much, Isaac and Bright, for the opportunity. Like I said, it's a pleasure to be on this show, and exciting to to talk with you guys, really about AI and what's going on within especially the language space in Ghana, which is really exciting. Just a bit of myself. My name is Joel. I'm the Director of Engineering at GhanaNLP. I've been with the team since 2020. And GhanaNLP really is it's a non-profit organization or community based in Ghana, which basically works around open source to be able to develop cutting-edge technology when it comes to languages, especially in Ghana, primarily in Ghana, but also spanning also Africa as well. So using the technology such as artificial intelligence and natural language processing to be able to build different tools and technologies around that. And the cool aspect about GhanaNLP is it's also an open source community where people like you and I can come together and then work and contribute on the work that's been going on. So everything that you see has been, contributed by, people, volunteers and different people, primarily Ghanaians, all over the world that are, putting together the effort to be able to make things work. But I would say that it's also in collaboration with a body called Algorand, which is essentially the commercial bit of it that, helps us to be able to, get some money to be able to fund the research and then the applications that we have out there. So our primary application that we had is Khaya AI, which is an application that's available on iOS, on Android and web as well, where you can essentially have translations in local languages, and you can have speech to text, which is like you can have an AI that can recognize languages such as Tree, Ga, Ewe, and others. And then we also have speech to text technology, which essentially, if you have text in a local language, is able to speak it out artificially. So those are the main technologies that we have integrated into applications. And I would say that it's first of its kind, really, in Ghana and in Africa. I would say for a lot of the languages that we work with, obviously for some of them, big companies like Google or Microsoft or Meta may have, I think they have, especially Google, have a few models for some of the local languages. But the main thing that GhanaNLP we focus on is really low resource languages. So, I mean, a lot of the languages in Ghana, you don't have so many people actually speaking them. I'm saying that in comparison to other languages. So, for example, you have it like Yoruba, you have hundreds of millions of people speaking that language. But for Akan or Tree, you have, less than, 20 million people that are speaking that language. So when a company like the big companies are looking at it, they are comparing, they're like, oh, this is a very small language. Let's say, for example, Ga or Ewe, according to us, there are lots of people that speak those languages, but in the grand scheme of things, it's like this is a very tiny language. So then they might not spend, or let's say use their resources to focus on those ones. They'll focus on the bigger ones. And the risk here is that, if we don't take things into our own hands, our languages will be forgotten, because with this, big corporations, they are looking at profits. So then they are looking at what's going to make the money, not necessarily putting Ghana on the global scale. So I hope I've given a good background of what we do.
Yeah, that's very deep. That's very
very deep, and we really appreciate that, because people maybe we will just touch on the languages and stuff. It's obvious when you say, oh, let's translate languages and stuff, right? But I want to tie it to the potential of like AI, with something like, say, ChatGPT, right? People are going crazy about it because it's immediately obvious the benefits, right? And so I guess, and you touched on your motivation, right? So aside just, let's say, oh, let's build this thing so that our languages are not forgotten, right? We can do translations, which is helpful. Sort of looking at it from an AI standpoint, right? And the potential that AI is unleashing, right now. What are some of the things that motivate you down the road, right? From looking at language as AI, from AI perspective, not just, the translation bit.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. So I think that the language bit, even though right now it's probably not as exciting as the chatbot aspect, but then the thing is, it's crucial to get the language aspect as well, because you can have a LLM, you can have a chatbot, but it's going to be in English, it's going to be in Spanish, it's going to be in Portuguese.
What happens? A chatbot? What's the chatbot?
Okay.
Because some of our viewers might not know some of these technical terms. So, like, what's a chatbot before we go into it?
Okay. I think generally, if you talk about a chatbot, it's more like an artificial intelligence. I mean, bot. The word bot is like short for robot. So it's in a way an artificial intelligence robot, which you can interact with, typically using chats, either a text or voice format, and then this artificial intelligence robot would give you a response that itself has generated in an intelligent manner based on whatever input you are giving. So, I mean, traditionally before it was, kind of rule based. So, okay, if I see this text input, then give this particular response. But when we talk about LLMs, which are large language models, so essentially these type of models are AI or machine learning models that have been trained on huge amounts of data, like a huge amount of text. And in a basic sense, is LLMs are just predicting the next word in a sentence. So for example, I am driving a dash. The most common thing is probably maybe I'm driving a car. And so when I give a particular question, the model essentially just predicts what the response is based on, imagine you have the whole of Wikipedia, you have like textbooks all dumped into a huge data set or database where you have questions and answers, and then the model is able to have very in-depth understanding on so many different topics, and it's able to quite intelligently give a very dynamic response about anything. It can have a conversation. It can, give you factual information and all that, which is quite insane, I would say. And that's what has really, exploded over the past few months and taken the world for a spin.
Okay. So you said you were building. So I really interrupted to get the background on what the chatbot was, but you were talking about your motivation for first building the
foundation,
the platform, the foundation before going on to that. So can you continue with that?
Yeah. So that's the thing. So with LLMs and with all this new craze, it's all exciting, but you would have these models that all the information or the data, it's primarily available in the high resource languages. Okay, so for example, English, French, Portuguese, Spanish, and all that. So what I was trying to say was that the risk here is that if if organizations such as GhanaNLP doesn't focus on those translations aspects or the actual languages themselves, the risk is you're going to have these chatbots and advancements all in other languages, but not in our own languages. You understand? So that's the main risk. It's really not. I mean, that the difficulty in training those type of models, they have their own challenges on its own in terms of, being very. You need to be GPU rich. If yeah, that's the term that really is out there. It costs
just have fancy
millions and millions
right?
of millions and millions of dollars, goes into training these models. I think that is one challenge on its own. Having the resource to be able to even do the training locally, as in Ghana, that's one challenge on its own. But then the other challenge as well is really about the language itself. Being able to have the data within for that particular language. You understand? So if you wanted to do a large language or a chatbot that can understand P or understand Ga or understand Ewe, you need to have, those data available. So and the data, it's not necessarily focused on, let's say, translation on its own. I mean, if you have data in P, it can be useful for so many different things, and
right.
it could be, and it is very, very extremely useful for building, LLMs that are relevant to our society. So then I would say that it's even more. It's crucial. It's extremely crucial now to really handle the translation aspect of things, because the other bits, other people are kind of working on. You have OpenAI, for example, model out there. You have Llama out there that you can just kind of use for free, or you can pay for it. I'm not too worried about LLMs in English. So many people are working on that. But how many people are working on LLM for free? How many are working on Ga and all those ones? So that is the main risk, I would say. So I would say that the most difficult bit is actually the local language aspect, and the AI and machine learning bit. That's not too difficult. I mean, there are challenges there, like I mentioned, in terms of the resources and all that, but I see that as a significantly
Next
less
step.
challenging problem.
Yeah, no, exactly. So I actually like that, you laid that out, because somebody might say, okay, well, so if you take Ghana, English is our official language, right?
Yeah.
And, people say, well, I do make this argument that we are making a fundamental mistake for like making everything based off of just English, because you have your mother tongue, right? Which you don't even have to think about when you're communicating. Right? Exactly. And to me, when, let's say, even in a classroom setting, when you want to express yourself and contribute to a conversation or a topic, right, it just doesn't help so much when you're struggling to come up with the right English, to express yourself. That's just my position. And so I for one, look at the work that, you guys are doing to be critical, right? To bring knowledge to the level that people actually understand and connect to their day-to-day lives, right? Because people live their lives in their local languages. One question I had was like, how are you finding what I guess, what does it even look like from a very high level to build something like this, and how are you finding data to do that stuff?
Yeah, so it's a very, I would say, tedious process to be able to source this data, because it's not like the data is there. It's not available compared to other languages where you can find so many data sources that are available. A lot of them might be free, open source ones, other and so many other ways that you can actually get those data. For example, you have many books written in English. For example, you can maybe scan them, do OCR, optical character recognition, and then get them onto a model or a system like that. But for our case, I mean, there are some available, but for the most part, there's very little resource available. So it's a very tedious process of being able to get people like linguists and people that are very good in the language, that can speak and also write the language, because that's also another thing, because not everybody that can speak the tree can also write it.
Can write
So even when some people are writing, if you're writing a lot of people use Tre to write because we don't even have the keyboards even available to type it. And even all no problem with the open brackets, or I think close brackets earlier. So even with the data, if let's say you want to scrape some data from some source, you realize that it's not even clean, because people don't have the right means to even input it, and even the spellings are all over the place, because they are just spelling is the way they feel it's going to be. I mean, some of us studied it in primary school, how to type it and all that, but I don't know how many of us actually can. And even our parents and our grandparents, they can't at all. They can speak it, but then writing it is also a challenge. Yeah. So then there are all these things that come together to really make it that important. And we actually believe that the more we are coming out with all these things, it would encourage the local community to be able to, and also the external community also as well, to be able to make tools that can support our local languages much better. I mean, when I started this thing, a couple of years back, you had to literally install like a very custom keyboard. I think even on iOS, there's virtually no keyboard available.
There's one called Inchia.
Inchia, okay. I see. I've never even heard of that, but on
paid.
PC,
it's not free.
It's paid, yeah. On PC, you could get some keyboards available to be able to, like, you need to install like a separate package to be able to get it available.
Yeah, actually, I was
going to say, in terms of the data that you guys are using to like train the model, I was following Paul, who is one of the co-founders, and he there was someone who was doing an illustration of how the Khaya app worked, which we are going to do where we get a few minutes. But someone was saying that it sounded like Bible Muchi.
Okay.
So, and then Paul actually said that the Bible was one of your key resources for how does I was actually fascinated about getting data from the Bible and all of that.
Right.
Was that
you could speak to
story
that.
on that?
Yeah, sure. I mean that is true. Yes, obviously there's a huge difference from Bible sort of and then what we speak nowadays, because obviously that is more extremely colloquial and then very formal, and then all the full. But now you have kind of more modernized. We have now modern ways of communicating the language and all that. So then, yes, in a way that is true. But I think there is that benefit there, because a lot of these languages they have been translated been transcribed, and then you have all these audio as well. You have this audio Bible available for a lot of local languages, and I think even the bigger companies like Meta, and then I don't know about Google, but they use that. That's even how, because if that was even there, they probably wouldn't even have anything for GN and all that. But that is what is available out there. But we need more than that. That's the thing, because if there were some more data that's more current about the recent way of speaking, then it wouldn't be like Babu Muchi. It would now be like the one that you are all used to. So that's one of the things that we are trying to tackle. So obviously the data that we collect wouldn't be Bible Muchi. It will be the usual one that we are used to. So then as time goes on, we'll be able to have better models and better output that you and I can kind of relate with more.
Right. Yeah. Interesting.
Okay,
yeah.
So
interesting.
So if I understand this whole process, and maybe the two of you might understand because you guys work in the space a little bit more. So my understanding is this: we want to be able to build ultimately, right, some bots out there that we can interact with. The way we talk with ChatGPT, I ask ChatGPT a question, and then it generates something for me. But ChatGPT is generating it based on all the data, let's say all the data on the internet, right? That's it is exposed to, or it has been trained with. So let's say ChatGPT knows something in Wikipedia, all of those places, and then ChatGPT, based on that language, those resources will talk to me like a regular person. But because we don't have that resource, like Wikipedia and everything in tree and all of that, we have to kind of like build that thing from scratch.
Exactly.
And then
You've gotten
before
it.
we get to the ChatGPT stage, I between our bonkomo. You guys are like at the beginning, you are the pioneers of like this thing. Like you are building the structures that will help us to get to that stage.
Right.
I think it's really cool that you are devoting like the time and the resource to do all of this stuff. And we'll get into like the benefits of like when we get to the point of okay, we have reached. What does it look like? How does it? What do the applications look like in terms of like in our communities, in school, even, and all of that stuff?
So you mentioned very quickly that you're engaging. I'm guessing you're engaging linguists and people who are traditional speakers. Like how is that? How is that? Do you just send them something and then they tell you how you would say all these things in, let's say, Chi, or how does that work?
So an example process might look like, let's say, for example, I have a sentence in English, right? Or let's say I have 100 sentences in English, and I need those same sentences in, let's say, Ga, Ewe, whatnot. So I just need to have somebody who is very good and who can obviously write it and really understand both English and that language and can translate it into that particular language. I mean, it could be different things. It could be doing a translation. It could be translating and also reading it out as well, as in recording it in their voices. So that is you see what I mean. So let's say I have let's say 100 Gan sentences. Who can actually read those Gan sentences and pronounce it properly? Those type of things is what we kind of work with the linguists, and then people. It doesn't necessarily have to be a linguist per se, but somebody who's obviously very good in the language can contribute and bring their efforts on board as well.
Okay, so like what would a Ghanaian, for instance, right, look at and be like, oh my God, I can actually do this and that because of because of this important work that you guys are doing.
Okay, I think that the usefulness, I think one of the demos that we put out there was really like, let's say, for example, I'm a Ghanaian, right? Let's say I go to northern region, right? And I'm doing some sightseeing or something. Let's say I don't understand the language there, right? And I want to interact with the people there in their own local language. So, for example, I could speak into the app, whatever. It could be Tree, it could be Ghana, it could be English, whatever I understand, and then the AI could translate it into the local language in that place. And then we can have that conversation, let's say in real time, with that person. I think there's that technology out there, but it's not for like our languages.
Doesn't work for our languages, yeah.
So that's a typical example. Or maybe any foreigner, that comes in the country that wants to, interact with the local people can probably use something like that to be able to speak and understand, what we are seeing here in Ghana. These things are available for many other. For example, if I go to Japan right now, I can use my phone. I can point my camera at the signboard, and it will in real time change it into English. Yes, that's something that exists right now, like Google Translate. So it can really help, really, both in terms of foreigners and probably in schools as well. I mean, like when you are studying, something in English, you can actually have, speech. You can on your MacBook or your PC or your iPhone, you can let it read whatever text is there for you. You can let it read it. It works for English, but it doesn't. There's nothing for G. That it will read the text for you. So it could help in our schools, right? So if you are learning, Tree or Akan or something like that, you just put the text, and then you let the thing speak it out for you, because so that you don't always need to have your Tree teacher, your 2-hour lesson or something else come around. And because obviously even within the local context, you have people learning different languages. So somebody who is an Akan might want to learn Ga or might want to learn Ewe. So then all those things will really, really help, in the educational system to be able to promote the study, of these languages that we have.
And I can see also helping. So I'll give you an example of like even YouTube. Could you remember when we did the video in Tree? And we didn't have time. I mean, we work at 9 to 5. We had to post the video, and we're like, most of our audience speak English, right? And then now we are producing a Tree video, Charlie. We wish we had like some text to speech that can just translate it for us, rather than us sitting down and typing everything ourselves.
Yes.
If we have something like this at the time, or we're exposed or it's advanced to that stage, it can just do all of this stuff for us. So that's
I think. Go ahead. Sorry.
Yeah, you actually, that's a very good use case actually, because YouTube has this auto transcription that they can do, right, for English, I believe, but in other languages. So imagine you had it for Tree, so you didn't have a problem. The our AI could automatically, I think we could actually probably build something that can automatically transcribe what you spoke, translate it to English, and then Canberra,
Yes, Rebecca's backstage.
Okay.
Yeah, so Joel, this has been mind-busting. I got to tell you. I mean, the work that you guys are doing is fantastic. So I was just, I just wanted to bring it all in perspective, and then to also have the viewers see the work that you're doing, right? So far, what would you say are some of the key successes you have already chopped, right? And then maybe we would show a quick demo, right, to highlight what you guys have done.
Yeah, sure. Thanks. So I think in terms of successes, I think we've been quite successful over the past few years. Really, in terms of being the first to release anything close to this for the languages that we're working with. There doesn't exist out there anything that I know of for a lot of the language that we're working with. So, for example, Dagbani, Gorani or Fafra, Fante. We have models for all that. We have models for Twi, Ewe, Yoruba, and even in eastern parts of Africa as well, such as Kikuyu, Luo, Kimberu, and all that. So then we have a lot of models we have a lot of supports that previously never even existed in the first place. And I think we're the first to actually create an application that can translate into all these languages that's available freely to anybody to use. Also, we have available an API that companies can access. So probably Isaac, for you, an API is something that developers can use to connect and access whatever you are seeing within the applications. They can integrate it into their own application. So let's say a bank, school, governmental institutions can actually make use of these technologies within their own systems.
Can individual developers also access?
Yeah, anybody you can access the API. You can actually have a free trial as a developer. You can have about 100 requests a month to test with, but the moment you go more than that, you can pay a small subscription fee for that. Yes, because there's nothing like a freelancer.
Well, it costs
nothing
money
free out there.
Yeah,
Obviously, it's something that we are spending quite a bit of money every month just to keep the systems running, and so obviously we need to get some revenue coming in to be able to support the work that we are doing, because it costs a lot of money. I think.
So quick question: if I, for instance, I know this work is very fundamental and important, right? And I'm sure there are other Ghanaians, Africans who feel the same. If an individual or a group of individuals want to say donate to your work, is that possible? Like, could they go somewhere and chip in a little bit to support the awesome work you guys are doing?
Or even invest. Yeah, you guys anything. Because it costs money.
Yeah, definitely. I think we can accept those if you send an email to our contact. If you just look for GhanaNLP out there. You can put on the screen our email address. You can send an email and then you can donate. But I think that the quickest way that you probably could is through our API. I mean, that's like a subscription that we have. So that's where most people actually can actually subscribe. Put in your card details, and then you're paying a monthly thing to us. So I think our mobile application, there's a premium version on that. So that's also a very easy way to support, where you pay. I think it's not a lot. It's not a lot to pay. I think it's about $10 or so for the whole year or something like that. Even less than that. So that's you can easily go to our mobile application. You can click on get access to the premium version, and then you can support through that way, or you can contact us as well. And then if you want to donate some funds to us as well, we would gladly accept as well. And if you're a developer,
throw in 10,000.
Oh, nice.
What's that?
Yeah.
What are you saying? I didn't hear you say it again. I have some 10,000 be somewhere.
Yeah. Okay. So I guess bottom line is that there are multiple ways to support this amazing work. If you want to maybe do more, either via donations or maybe you want to invest in it, send them an email, and we'll put their email address on the screen. So maybe this would be a good point to show like a quick demo, right? People always say show us the money, right? To just show what the project is at, where it's at right now, and the progress. So Isaac, could you bring it on screen and show viewers? Yeah.
Okay, so this is the web application for the Khaya AI translator. So for example, you come here, you come to the screen, there's English and then there's Tree. So on the left is where the language that you are typing in, and then on the right is the language that is being translated. So let's put in something. My name is Yao. I like my name.
You should.
Within the Yao.
Yeah. Okay,
Oh wow.
cool.
Within the Yao.
Within the Yao.
Yeah.
Okay.
What
So you see,
okay, you guys should come up with something
that
else.
was actually a good one, and you can
Yeah.
see how instant that was, right? Whilst you're
It was
typing,
fast,
it's
yeah.
instantly translating, and then the moment you clicked on, the text to speech, you just got the output.
Come up with something else. Could you?
Yeah. I think the
I'm
one
taking
you
requests.
mentioned earlier.
Yeah.
Welcome to our show.
Hi.
We're having a
Welcome to our show
with Joel from GhanaNLP.
Joel from GhanaNLP. Okay, that's finished translating. Nice. Let's listen to it.
Hold on, before you even play it.
I've already pressed it.
Mema wana wo hwe no akwaba. Mema won akwaba wo ye dwumadie a ye de kire won no ho.
Nice.
I think can you click it again? I think
let me click there.
Let's
hear it again.
Mema wona wo hwe no akwaba. Mema won akwaba wo ye adansidie mu kire Joel a ofri Ghana indu no.
Okay. Wow. That's impressive. Yeah.
Okay, so
I think it's okay. Yeah, my initial assessment, I think it's impressive. Like given from ground zero to this level, right?
You guys are
I can read Tree a little bit. So yeah, I was saying that the translation bit is phenomenal. I think the voice, maybe you guys are still working on it, and that's understandable. I mean, it's been only a few months or years, right? But to even go from that English to that level of like Nemawana or Shayena, Kwaba, and so this is the kind of Tree that, when my uncles and my grandparents speak to me, I'm like, hey, so it's really getting to the core of it, right? And then of course, maybe once you have that, you could, bring it to our level. So this is fantastic.
Yeah.
This is fantastic.
Yeah. Thank you.
Yeah.
And you get the same thing on the mobile app too, right?
You get the exact same thing. I think the only thing that's not available on mobile yet is the text to speech, which is like speaking it out.
Okay.
But everything else is there.
And it's on iOS and Android.
Yeah, there's iOS, Android. Everybody's parts. Everybody can join.
And then also you said we can. These are other languages that you can, for now, translate to, but you will not be able to read out except the Tree. So you can do Tree, Ewe, Ghana, Fanti, Yoruba, Dagbani, Kikuyu, Gureni, Kimeru.
Yeah.
The
list goes on and on.
The list goes on, and I'm sure you guys will populate it with even more as time goes on. So this is really awesome work.
Yeah, amazing.
Yeah.
Interesting.
Yeah. I would say that so there's much more to this. So there's also the aspect of speech transcription where you can. I think that's more. It should be available here. I think if you switch to Tree, let me just switch a language, the main language to Tree. Let me see. Yeah. So you see where the mic is. You can actually talk.
Oh.
Oh wow. Let's see if it will work.
Adɛn nti na wodɔ me saa? Okay, that's cool. Bra fie na bedidi.
Yeah. So in this particular one, the speech to text, that's huge. I would say that we have the best available Tree transcription technology anywhere. Like we've tested other ones, both commercial and non-commercial and all that, and ours is actually the best available.
Yeah.
So then
what I wanted to do actually was if we could, after we did that translation where it says, you know, Yamawana or Shakwaba, if we could hop onto Google Translate and see how terrible it is, you know, to let users know that this is like step function change, you know.
Sure with your phone.
Oh no, I think you need to switch it. You need to switch.
Oh, sorry.
It. Yeah.
Sorry. See, you have to be tech savvy. Yeah, I've been following Paul on LinkedIn, and I'm always like excited about, you know, the progress and what.
Okay.
And then if you copy the same text and maybe open like Google Translate and see what they would.
If I open Google, it will still be shared. Okay, share this tab instead.
So
did it paste everything? Okay.
No, yeah, it did. It did actually.
So let's go.
And then you want to change to Akan.
Akan.
It's still speaking English.
Hi,
actually.
Hi is not you.
Yeah,
wow.
NLP.
So see, if you don't fully understand
Ofika is not even P, yeah.
Exactly.
Because that one is supposed to be free. OFIRI.
Right.
That's the
Yeah. So viewers, you can see that, you know, the world is moving, but we are kind of left behind. I mean, you probably know this if you're Ghanaian. So it's very important that, you know, the work that folks from GhanaNLP, Joel, and all the awesome guys are doing, I think those are going to at least help us benefit from the awesome complexities and breakthroughs that the world is, you know, making. So this is phenomenal. Yeah.
Thank you.
So we encourage you, if you haven't used it, go and use it. Please go and download the app.
Download the app. We put the image of the app in there. Go to iOS. Go to App Store. Sorry. Go to what's the other one for Android? We fee Android. December, Play Store and download it. If you're a developer or someone who would like to take advantage of the API as well, please do so. Subscribe. It's not very expensive, and you can support the awesome work that is being done at Ghana.
Like I said, on the mobile app, you can subscribe to like a premium version, as a way of supporting. Like I mentioned earlier, $10 a year. So the full year you pay only $10, or if it's on a month-to-month basis, it's $1, which is like 15 CDs or less, which you can't even buy a plate of gobe with 15 CDs anymore. So
yes,
50,
but it will go a long way. It will go a long way to help the team.
So it will go a long way to help. So you know, let's support the work.
Amazing. Let's build Ghana and Africa together.
These are the things that we need to be supporting and pushing. And we are glad that you took the time to come speak with us. This is our own little contribution in getting our viewers to know about this awesome thing that you guys have put blood, sweat, and tears into. I can't imagine how much work has gone into building all of this. We would encourage you guys to continue working on this. We will support in whatever way that we can, and I'm sure our viewers will as well. So viewers, if you know, you've heard everything. I'm not going to go into it again. Like, share, subscribe, share. Please, this video is very important to us. Please share it to somebody so that they know about this work that is being done at GhanaNLP. Leave your comments in there. Anything that you think they can do to improve the system as of now. Any ideas that you have. As you can see, we are at a very early stage of this. Any ideas you have, put in there. We'll get it to them. And yeah. Thanks for watching, and we will see you in the next one.
Yep.
Bye-bye.
All right. Thank you.